Oh, Dale Smith, Colgate class of 1970, received his PhD from the University of Washington in 1978. He was a visiting assistant professor at Colgate from 1981 to 1983, when he became planetarium director at Bowling Green State University, a position he still holds. He is also professor of physics and astronomy and professor of service excellence at Bowling Green. He was president of the International Planetarium Society in 1999 to 2000 and president of the Great Lakes Planetarium Association from 1990 to 1994. We're very pleased to have him back here.
Thank you, Carol Ann. Shows what good mentoring can do. I've had the privilege of knowing Tony Lorraine Aveni for an even 50 years. And I can tell you that the strengths we see today were in place those 50 years ago. And I'd like to illustrate that with 5 very brief vignettes. First, fall of 1966, my freshman year, November, the month of the Leonid meteor shower, which is good every 33rd year. 1966 was the 33rd year. And Hamilton weather every night was cloudy. But Tony had told us, if it ever cleared up, to call him regardless of the hour. So I'm studying my German in East Hall, 4th floor, 2 a.m., went out for a break and some fresh air, looked up, and lo and behold, it was crystal clear. So what should I was only a freshman. And my whole future, like they say when you die, your life flashes before you. My whole future flashed before me. But I took him at his word and rang their phone at 2:30 in the morning. I don't know if they do that now. But 10 minutes later, we were at the observatory. Opened the dome, ran the camera, counted meteors. And what's the point of the story besides a good laugh? Tony's passion for science, his rigor in doing good science, and his good word, in place 50 years ago, as they are now. Second, there's the Aveni most of you never knew, Fang. Fang was their dog. Tony and Lorraine would have us over for dinner, stuff us full of spaghetti to the point we were almost ready to do the Chinese burp of appreciation. And then Tony would summon Fang, who trusted his master. That was a mistake. Out would come the jar of peanut butter. Tony would thumb out a big glob of the peanut butter, spoon it into Fang's mouth like that. We stood there, doubled over in laughter, Tony watching us, watching Fang, and trying to suppress our burps of appreciation. We succeeded in suppressing, and the point, his sense of great humor, the same 50 years ago as now. Third, Astronomy 314, stellar structure, where the master taught us the physics of how stars work. When I took a similar course in grad school a couple of years later, I knew almost all of the content, thanks to this man. And today, the notes from that course are the heart of a similar one that I teach to your academic grandchildren. And they may be teaching it to your academic great-grandchildren. Let's see, I guess I need to move forward. There we go. 4th January 1970, Tony's first trip to Mexico, co-led by Bob Lindsley from the geology department. And yes, that is Bruce Selleck right next to Tony in the red shirt. Sorry, Bruce. And for those who knew him, Jeff Fishback. I'll say more about that. So we had good roadside stops. We had fun. At Teotihuacan, that's Tony still with some hair on the top, and my hair is still brown. But we measured the layout of pyramids at Teotihuacan. At Monte Alban, we stood atop Mount J, a home plate-shaped pyramid whose significance we figured out when we got back to Hamilton. And by working with the master, this student, class was not dismissed, learned the rigor of doing good science. And for Tony, it was the beginning of the transformation from being an astronomer into the multidisciplinary scholar that we know today. And fifth and finally, 1981 to 83, as Caroline mentioned, I was back here as a visiting faculty member. And during those years, Tony was nominated for the National Case Professor of the Year award. I was one of the references. And on the one hand, it was easy to write the reference letter. There's lots of strengths, lots of examples. We all know those. But it was also a challenge to write the reference letter because those strengths and examples didn't add up to the whole story. How come? Well, we all know the answer because there are those terrific intangibles that define the greatness of Tony and Lorraine Avini. And we celebrate them here tonight. So thank you both for a lifetime of friendship and inspiration. Blessings on you for a wonderful and exciting future.